Hello world, and welcome to my list of 11 movies that are guaranteed to inspire emotion, or as the internet would say, movies that give you feels. So the movies I'm going to share with you today are all movies in my personal collection that I would strongly recommend to anyone that hasn't seen them, or to those that have, to watch them again, to refresh the greatness of what these movies were, and are. Arlington Road. Now, this is a great movie starring Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack, and it's a movie surrounded by paranoia and terrorism. While one family is trying to figure out the truth, the other family is suspect, and there's all sorts of events combining the two families in a real suburban feel. It really gets you engrossed into what's going on, and you're able to identify with the characters, even though it's in this slightly askew setting. It's really a movie filled with hard choices that pull at your heartstrings as the characters have to face these terrible, terrible decisions at times. Broken Hearts Club. Now, this movie stars Zach Braff, Team Kane, Andrew Keegan, a bunch of names that you may very well recognize, but probably not in this context. The characters are all centered around a gay softball team, and it's a bunch of friends that have relationships with one another, and relationships with people outside the team, of course. Some housemates, and there's this whole culture around them because they know each other so well, and you really get pulling in as part of the family. As they go through all these ups and downs in relationships. There's a lot of challenges, and frankly, if you make it to the end of this movie without tearing up, you probably don't have a heart. LIE stands for Long Island Expressway, and this is a movie where a pair of young kids, played by Paul Dano and Robbie Kay, are going through a lot of crazy situations. They have broken families and a rather messed up life situation that they're in. And they come upon an elderly guy, played by Brian Cox, and end up with some fairly unconventional relationships. But the movie sees those relationships unfold and blossom and take some weird turns. And through it all, it kind of pulls you in and you find that you're really getting involved with these characters. So this is definitely one that you should check out. Life is a House, which is kind of hard to read, so Life is a House. Alright, in this movie, Kevin Kline plays an architect, and his life kind of falls apart around him, and he's in constant conflict with his teenage son, played by Hayden Christensen. The two of them go at it constantly, and you get to experience their family. It's actually more than just the two of them, but as everything collapses around them and they literally try to rebuild their lives, all focused around this house, which is the dream of the architect father. There's this clash between the emo son and the 9-to-5 parents, which draws you in, and you get to see their race to rebuild their lives before mortality strikes. Can't read that. Mr. Holland's Opus. Main actor in this movie is Richard Dreyfuss, who plays Mr. Holland, and as you can guess by the title, it's centered around music. Mr. Holland is a music teacher and has this dream of being a world-renowned composer and putting together his opus. Now, the conflict really sets in when, as he's getting older, he gets married, he has kids, and specifically his son is deaf. This becomes really challenging for him because he doesn't really know how to relate with his son who can't hear music when music is the center of his life. But the story unfolds, and we see the young Mr. Holland growing up, having a kid, and then their family growing up till many years go by, and the story really seeps into you as you get to learn how these characters react to different things, how they're feeling, and it is a masterfully written story that is filled with humanity and music. Philadelphia. Main characters in this are played by Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. The two of them are amazing, and this is an incredible movie. You've probably heard of it because it's just one of those kinds of movies. But if you haven't seen it, do so. It's the story of a high-priced lawyer who gets fired from his job after he gets AIDS. So the main character ends up in a legal battle trying to get some restitution for the homophobia and injustice that he's been facing. And it's that fight that the story follows as the characters try to seek for a better future, while at the same time the disease strips him of his very life. Powder. This movie is an extraordinary movie, and it stars Sean Patrick Flanery as a boy named Powder. He's playing opposite some other folks such as Jeff Goldblum and Mary Steenburgen. And Powder is a boy that is born when his mother is struck by lightning, which ends up resulting in both physical defects and emotional issues. He is struggling throughout the movie trying to fit in with society because he frankly has too much humanity. Some of the movie is bordering on supernatural, but it is the heart of the characters that really capture you. Primal Fear. This movie, starring Richard Gere and Laura Linney as opposing sides of a legal case where they're both lawyers and they're trying to find the truth in a situation of the murder of a local archbishop. The accused is an altar boy played by Edward Norton. So this is a story filled with all sorts of emotion, love, resentment, and a lot of confusion about what's real, what's the truth, what's a lie, especially when you're having a lack of witnesses. And it really pulls you in and keeps you wondering and starting to identify with all three of the main characters very heavily. School of Rock. Now this movie is an outlier on my list here because it's not really a serious movie per se. It's actually quite the comedy. But at the same time, it is still very filled with love and feelings and all that sort of thing. So Jack Black and Mike White, black and white, star in this color movie involving a whole bunch of talented youngsters. Jack Black plays a character who pretends to be Mike White's character and gets a job at a school teaching music. Hilarity ensues, and the characters go through this whole up and down amongst the grown-ups, the school folks, the children, the parents, everyone trying to realize what it means to be yourself. So this is a story of how friendships can blossom through music and how to be true to oneself. And really it's a lesson not just for the kids, but for the parents as well. Shawshank Redemption. Classic movie that you've probably already heard of. Hopefully you've seen. If not, go out and watch it. This movie stars Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. They are prisoners and constantly trying to seek solace and humanity in this setting of corruption and brutality. From incarceration through years of friendship, you follow the main characters and build up a variety of compassion and disgust for some of them. But all in all, this is a society-defining kind of movie. V for Vendetta. Now this movie, one might think, is an action movie, and it certainly does have a fair amount of action, but it is the story at the center of it that really drives it all together. Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman star in this movie, which is set in a near-future Britain. There's a tyrannical aspect to it, and the whole core of the story is the fight for individual freedom and the right to not be afraid, particularly of the people that are serving you in the government. The world is relatable, and the characters pull at those strings, the parts of your soul that you find yearning to be open and unafraid as well. I give top marks to all these films. If you're looking to see them, which you should be, You can find them on services like Amazon Instant Video or Netflix DVD, or possibly other mediums if you're choosing. I haven't really looked at every possible way that you can get the movies, but you can just go out and buy them. They're worth owning. In any case, if you've enjoyed this list, please let me know by subscribing, leave comments. Also, give a thumbs up to this video so I'll know to make more of this sort and go through much more of my movie collection. So I hope you find movies in your life or stories in your life that inspire more humanity and emotion within yourself, because it is that spark of life that really drives us as a society. So thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.